and let the spectators be positive. Today the Bulldogs are hosting the Rams in the Central Jersey Group 2 playoff game. The Rams from South River High School. Before we get to the starters, we have a message from the NJSIAA.
Today's contest is being conducted according to the rules of the New Jersey State High School Athletic Association. These rules provide for fair competition among players. Spectators can help promote good sportsmanship by observing the rules of fair play. Any verbal, written, or physical conduct related to race, gender, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, or religion shall not be tolerated, could subject the violator to ejection, and may result in penalties being assessed against your team. Each one is requested to take personal responsibility for keeping this competition at a high level of good sportsmanship.
And now, before we get to the starters, would you please stand for the playing of our national anthem? And now the starters for South River, coached by Mike Feaster. At forward, a sophomore, number 13, Gianna Rodriguez. At guard, a junior, number 31, Maddie Vitucci.
Junior, number 54, Sam Pfeiffer. Senior captain number 32, Orly Germain. Senior number 12, Katie Gray. Senior captain number 23, Cassidy Potter.
Against South River. Charlotte Breen not starting on the bench. Here's a shot from deep. No good. Pulled down by Germain. She scoops it up. Actually, that was Pilata who helped her out and got the ball scooped up. And now it's up to Connors. Cassidy Connors out there with Lucy Pilata, Orly Germain, Sam Pfeiffer, and Katie Gray. No sign of Charlotte Breen right now and on that starting roster. Metuchen's had an excellent year this year, 18-8 their record, 11-3 in the GMC. Obviously, like I said, 2 of those wins have come against South River. We got to call some of these games earlier on in the year. That one no good on a chance underneath a jumper. That's Perez who nails it. And it's 2-0. That was Pereira, who got the jumper, and it's 2-0 South River. They're up to the early lead. Chucked up to an open Katie Gray, and Metuchen responds perfectly with a nice pass and a nice play as Katie Gray ties this game up.
That's a great job by Cassidy Connors there, finding Katie Gray up into the paint uncovered.
Gianna Rodriguez is the main player for this Rams roster. Watch her. She's up at the top right now with her hands up, and now she gets the ball wide open, guarded by Jermaine, but not really guarded there. She misses the three-pointer. Watch out for Rodriguez from three-point range today. She has 258 points on the year. She could be pretty deadly if she gets her groove on. Pass, almost some points for Katie Gray. In the deep zone was Gray, but she couldn't catch it underneath the basket. Falls out of bounds. Jared, we've got a big game tonight as Metuchen looks to advance. If they win, they take on the winner of a tough game in Manasquan and Wall.
And that game should be going on right now. Obviously, a very tough game. Manasquan expected to win, being the 2 seed. But definitely a very tough opponent. Either way, both shore schools in Manasquan and Wall. Definitely going to be tough competition if they manage to pull it out here.
So, still low scoring here. Yeah, obviously Manasquan this year has been especially good. Wall is the 15 seed. Manasquan up at the 2 seed. So, Manasquan, obviously a big school. It would be a tough one for Metuchen to take on if they were to play them. Right now, a 19-6 record. They have the 2 seed in the entire county. So, that would be tough. 9-1 in the shore division. They're playing some big schools though, Jared, and they were able to pull out some big wins. And when they played Wall last time on the 31st, they won 52-39. So you're more than likely going to end up playing Manasquan with a win. You got to focus on winning this one though first. And if they win, they award themselves a game Thursday. It would be on the road against Manasquan, and if Wall somehow pulls off an upset, it'll be here. Obviously, they need to win tonight for any of this to happen. As 1 of 2 from the line go through, it's Metuchen ball offensively. Connors. And it's going to go back the other way. Double dribble by Connors. And the Bulldogs, a little sloppy on offense. Usually they come out okay, never great. And at some point they start to phase into their great offensive play, which they usually have. But they're struggling right now a little bit offensively, and obviously there's a lot of time to change it. In fact, it probably will change like we've seen over the course of their season. There's a three-pointer, no good, pulled down by Jermaine. But they have to find their rhythm offensively, and we've talked about this with this team especially a lot. It's hard to find your rhythm early on in the game, obviously, but once you find yourself and once you find how to expose this defense, it becomes a lot easier. And you've played this team twice this year, as you see an airballed shot by Pfeiffer go out of bounds. You've played this team twice this year, so you would think that you'd be more acquainted with their defensive style of play.
And that could be something that's possible with Coach Glutz putting in Lucy Pilata instead of Charlotte Breen. This team can definitely shoot here in Metuchen, and it just takes some time for them to get going. Of course, Manasquan you haven't played before, but South River you know. So maybe that's an adjustment made by Coach Glutz that you've seen them before. Let's make some adjustments.
Three-pointer nailed, and they double their score just like that. And now Metuchen is looking from behind with a 6-2 lead in favor of South River. Was that a travel? It was. Jermaine doesn't look to be herself right now in this one. You just have to let her do her thing, but the travel there, she's not usually one to commit any penalties or violations like that, so that's kind of a alert that they have to kind of wake up in general. They have 1 foul this quarter, none for the opposing Rams. South River, a great program. A shot from 3, almost another one. That one off the rim, pulled down by Jermaine, who has 3 rebounds but no points. Pilata, the freshman, is in charge of the offense right now at the point guard position. Outside is Pfeiffer, 0 for 1 from shooting today. Pass goes outwards to their own side of the half. Connors scoops it up, but it's a backcourt violation, so in a catch-22 there, Connors got it, but it's still going to be Rams ball regardless.
And obviously this is a wake-up call for your offense here. A couple violations here and there, and you start to realize, like, we need to get our shooters going here. You're down 6-2. Of course, not out of reach. You're still just getting into the game, getting settled, but your shooters got to eventually activate here.
Katie Gray, the only player to have points for Metuchen. And there's a foul, Metuchen's first team foul of the game. Excuse me, second team foul of the game. That was against Pfeiffer, her first. Was that a backcourt violation? It was. Interesting, I guess she received the ball when she was on the second side of the half and then just ran backwards. If you want to make that work, you have to either start on one side or the other. You cannot go to both, and there's the backcourt violation. Metuchen catches a break, and now they'll have the ball. But they're going to try to get this offense going a little more than they have here in the first quarter.
And that's just some sloppy play there by South River, not inbounding the ball at the right time and catching them in a backcourt violation. Let's see if Metuchen can capitalize.
Here's Germain, puts up her first shot, no good. It's not like Germain struggled shooting the ball tonight. She just hasn't taken any attempts. That was her first, as it didn't go. Looks like Katie Gray appears to be shaken up down on her feet or legs area. She seems okay. She'll shake it off as Metuchen will have the ball on an inbound. More than halfway through the quarter, it's been a not-so-eventful game for Metuchen, trailing by 4 here late in the first. Float up to Katie Gray. She saves it. Goes to Pilata. She's smothered. Get out of there. She does. Bouncer. Germain. She's got an open player in Gray. Fakes the shot. Goes up. Swatted down by a sea of Rams. And the Rams on the offense now. This offense has not been great for South River, but the defense has been phenomenal, and they've been shutting down Metuchen so far. Speaking of defense, Metuchen with a denial on the chance up there. They'll take the ball now. Connors looking at her options. Maybe just put up a 3. No good. And it goes out of bounds. Over for South River. And Metuchen still struggles offensively. This isn't something, Jared, that we've seen any really this year from this girls' team. What's the problem right now? What's different? Is it the defense or is it a struggling offense?
I think it's the defense that's struggling a little bit to get their offense going. The defense in the past minute or two has been good, but to start, it was a little sloppy, I have to say. And obviously starting out 6-2, you got to activate your offense, and that starts with getting rebounds and getting steals like we've known this team has done all year. Of course, we have Cassidy Connors leading the team in steals with 48, and Orly Germain leading the team in rebounds. So I want to see them two get going on the defensive floor to really activate the offense.
It may appear that Metuchen dominates South River this year, considering they beat them in both matchups that they've played them in. But in reality, the game that they play, both games have been close, within single digits, and one of them was within 9. But the interesting part about the game is Metuchen had 19 points in the first quarter. They only have 2 right now, and they also only allowed 3 points. They have allowed 6 so far in the quarter, make it 8. So it's a different team right now for South River, who is amidst a nice little streak they've got going in this game. Haven't allowed any points since 2 minutes into the game, and they just keep on rolling. Jumper, and finally something goes their way. A little roll in, and Metuchen back on front. They're back on the scoreboard and make it 8-4. Bulldogs starting to cut into that what was 6-point lead, now 4. They've won their last 2 games, this South River team. They lost to South Plainfield 54-27 in the county tournament. For 3. Overdone. Orly pulls it down, and now the Bulldogs have a chance to score again. We'll see if they can do it. They haven't scored on back-to-back drives tonight yet. Pfeiffer. Underneath. Germain loses it. Scooped up. Now taken onto the offensive side. Floater to another player underneath, and they got it. Easy lay-in and a nice pass as they put the points on the board.
And we're starting to see South River really activate here as they're developing a press defense against Metuchen. We've seen it definitely be some trouble for...
Vitucci got the points and then went back on defense. Pfeiffer had 2 wide open layups and missed them both. She seemed to be a bit distracted as some of her players were on the ground along with some South River defenders, but interesting. She missed 2 chances at free points, and I can't let that get in your head, obviously. Her second foul, though, short after. Swanned out of bounds. It's going to stay Rams ball. Gianna Hernandez, Rodriguez struggled with it. She went and we couldn't see the call. The ref was in our dead zone, but it's going to be Metuchen's ball. Charlotte Breen seeing her first minutes of the game. Little change in pace, but interesting. She doesn't check out Lucy Pilata. Pilata's still out there. She subs out Pfeiffer, who's already at 2 fouls and seems to be a bit rattled. Here's a three-pointer, no good. Pulled down by Germain. She's been getting every rebound. That has to do with her just being by far the tallest player on the court right now. It isn't always that way. In fact, it usually is that way, actually, for her, but it's especially that way tonight. Gray can't get the layup. Metuchen isn't not creating chances anymore here late in the first quarter. They're creating chances, but they're not hitting their shots. We saw the 2 missed layups by Pfeiffer, just wide open in the paint. We've seen 2 Katie Gray missed layups in total here in the quarter. We've seen Germain missing some shots that she typically makes. It's a little uncharacteristic, but I definitely would count on Metuchen to potentially hit those shots. Here's just a complete chuck-up by Cassidy Connors, who probably had more time, but gets the shot off, but no points come with it. 10-4 ends the quarter. Bulldogs trail by 6, Jared. A lot to talk about here in the first quarter.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it starts with the offense there. The offense was creating chances, but they haven't been able to capitalize so far. And certainly the offense needs to improve on their capitalization and their defense as well. Their defense has given up 10 points, which isn't that bad, but of course it funds your offense, and your offense really needs to get going.
It's not that bad, but they allowed 3 points the first time that they, 4 points the first time that they played them, and 3 points the second time they played them at the end of the first quarter against the same exact team. Obviously, I think South River has gotten a little better as the year has progressed, but it's still a little bit of a cause of concern because you want to see Metuchen also start to improve as the year sort of goes on. And they have, actually, but they're just struggling in the games where right now it matters the most, and that's tonight, obviously taking on a big opponent in the first round. But right now, if you're interested, the Bulldogs are the 7 seed, and South River is the 10 seed. So this is why Metuchen's home. Obviously, they have the home advantage by just 3 seeds. This might be our last game in the booth, though, considering if Metuchen loses, that ends their season, and if they win, we won't call any more games, assuming that Wall isn't able to win against Manasquan. Although, I guess there's some future games with potential, maybe some low seed makes a run and Metuchen ends up playing them, but the chances are very slim. So more than likely, I mean, 98%, 99% chance this is the last game here on the Bulldog Report of the season. Rodriguez moves to her right, dishes outside, 3-pointer, no good. Shot from Vera Cruz was nowhere near as it hit off the rim and fell forward. Here comes Gray to her right underneath and she scores. And just like that, Metuchen has 50% of the points they scored in the first quarter, and Gray has 4 of the 6. Good stuff from Gray. Metuchen running looks like a man press defense, and it's working so far. They get a steal and points, but look at this. Wide open right here is Marilyn. Orellana. She takes the 3. Orellana, air ball, and the Bulldogs will be back on the offensive front. Pfeiffer on the bench. The lineup right now looks like Gray, Germain, Breen, Connors, and Pilata. They have a lot of shooters out there. Try to create some chances for themselves. Here's Pilata. Foul on the defense, their first foul of the game. That was against Hernandez, her first. Rodriguez, her first. There was a Gianna Hernandez on another team. I'm trying to think of what team. I think it was maybe New Brunswick, but if you keep hearing me say Hernandez, just ignore it. It's Rodriguez, and she's probably been the best, by the way, Jared, player this year for South River.
Yeah, definitely. And Gianna Rodriguez, leading the team in rebounds, and obviously 258 points, 45 assists, 26 blocks, and 27 steals. So great on both ends of the floor, and a key part to the South River team.
Do you think South River is a little rattled right now? As you see, that one just a pass that went nowhere really near an offensive piece and just went straight out of bounds. They look a little bit, flustered, I'd say, here in the second quarter at least.
Yeah, and definitely, it happens, of course, in the course of the game where teams are going to go on different momentum swings. And right now, it's sort of even, but leaning Metuchen's way, they're getting some more chances, they're getting some more defensive plays.
Connors will hit one of these soon. She's right in the area, just barely missing, but you just got to give her some more chances to shoot those 3 balls as she missed that last one just now. Still a 4-point game that separates them. This one bound to be a great one. I think the final should be good. If you were here watching the boys game by chance on Friday, you saw Metuchen lose a heartbreaker. It was a really fun game to watch. Probably, Jared, the best game we've called here in the booth. And I know you've only been here for, 2 months maybe, 1.5 months, or maybe 1 month, actually. Probably just about 1 month. But it's been, there's never really been some great games. As you see this one, the J is good. It's a 12-6 game. There's never been great games. And the way that Friday went, it just gives you some excitement. I know it's late in the year, but it gives you excitement for close games here to be able to call and kind of watch as a Metuchen, fan and someone that likes to call the games also.
Yeah, definitely. And Friday's game, if you haven't looked, I think the last minute of play, I was watching it back, lasted almost 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So clearly
insane.
Some excitement there at the end, and of course, a bunch of fouling in that game. So far, not as much, only 5 fouls total through the first quarter and almost a half here.
Breen fires a 3. She had to release it quickly as there was a defender coming in her face. But the 3-pointer goes. She splits the lead in half, make it 12-8. Actually, they're going to say it was a 2. She was short of the line. And the ball out of bounds. Bulldogs ball. They're going to get it as it was passed to, again, nobody. And that's what I'm saying. South River has had trouble passing it to, passing's been a struggle. It hasn't been all game, but here in the second quarter, it's kind of becoming a little bit more evident, and they're struggling to find actual players when they're making passes. This is going to stay Metuchen's side as it, I think, hit off a South River hand before bouncing on the edge of the blue. Jermaine mosses 2 and throws it again out of bounds. It's been sloppy both sides.
And it definitely has. Both teams have had some varied ball security so far in the course of this game. And now that we see a timeout here from Coach Mike Feaster, this is going to be something that they need to touch on both sides here. Ball security definitely important. Some passes aren't going your way, and some steals that are just being sloppy and turning into points on the other end. So definitely something to work on here if you're South River, really, and Metuchen.
With the timeout, we'll take a break for now. You're watching the Bulldog Report. Ike Bush and Jared Popek, 12-8 Rams. Ready to go here after the timeout with 5 minutes to go in the half. Bulldogs trail by 4. A little bit of a surprising start for Metuchen, but they're leading in the right direction right now. Travel against Rodriguez. Here's Metuchen. A little bit of momentum their way right now.
Yeah, definitely. They've capitalized on some of the chances that they've had so far. And their defense has been pretty good, too. They're coming up with some steals, and South River's been a little bit sloppy here with their ball security. So obviously a point of emphasis there for both teams at the timeout. Let's see what changes when they go back in.
Connor's in a little bit of a corner. She gets out of that corner. She's got an open option outside. It ends up going underneath and taken by Rodriguez, who is the focal point, it seems, of this offense for South River, and defense, I should say. Foul, and the points go in. Are they going to count it? They will. And one. Good job by Natalia Veracruz. She's sent to the line for a three-point play, make it 14-8.
And she's been one of the most vital pieces, maybe even more than Rodriguez here, for South River, leading the team in points with 320, leading the team in steals with 68, leading the team in blocks with 37. So definitely a key point on the offense, and of course the defense in the blocks and steals. 166 rebounds, 43 assists, so wow, a long pass here.
And the points perfect. Nice pass, nice play. Zanecki comes in for a second and gets the points, and it's a 14-10 game. So yeah, this game, when we called this game, or this matchup I should say, when we called it, it was December 15th. That was a really long time ago. That is, what's today? It's the 21st of February, so
a little more than 2 months.
Yeah, more than 2 months ago they matched up, at least here. So it's been a long time since we've said these names, but I remember some of them. Like Rodriguez had a great game last time against Metuchen. Veracruz shot well, I believe, also. So, it's a matchup that obviously they met more recently since then, but they know each other, I'd say. Outside, Rodriguez kicks over to her left. It's a shift outside, leaves an open person for Orellana, who won't take it. It's back to Rodriguez, who steps right, drives in, off the glass and in. The kiss is good from Rodriguez, her third and fourth points of the game. It's a 16-10 game, and now this is more easy to watch, I'd say. Points are going in both directions for the first time in a little bit. It hasn't been like a full rhythm basketball game yet this game, and it feels like both teams are responding and sort of feeding off the energy right now.
Yeah, definitely, and that was a great passing pattern there from South River, passing it all the way around the arc and then finishing it for some points. Definitely something that worked there in that timeout, woke some of the players up, and obviously both teams are scoring now more, so maybe something that was good for both teams.
Polakowski comes in for a millisecond, and Jermaine comes right back in for her. So now they've got Jermaine with a surge of momentum, or at least somewhat of momentum. There's been I'd say, momentum for both sides right now. Jermaine, she's going to get that. Oh, she's not. She won't take it as it's pulled down by Rodriguez, and she moves to her right. Press defense by the Bulldogs isn't enough to prevent the Rams from getting it across half. Wide open. Why not? Take it. No good. Rebound. No good. Foul, they say, against Metuchen. Sends Rodriguez to the line. She'll shoot two.
And I was wondering if I was actually going to see today the Coach Glutz system of subbing your players in very quickly, getting some timeouts, and getting your players really rested. And we're not seeing it as much here today, but we're definitely subbing players more quickly in and out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's a good point because there's a lot of controversy around, do you put your not as good players in bigger games, or is that part of the system, or is it sort of just something that you like to do in terms of high school, just trying to get players into the game? So I think it's really part of her system, but she's not using it as much, I'd say, tonight, right? To an extent, it's a little bit of a different Coach Glutz system. We haven't seen a lot of these players as much as you'd think.
Yeah, definitely, and of course, Coach Glutz is working this in because it's a winner-go-home game. You want to put your best players out on the floor at all times, and of course you want them well-rested. That's why you sub them out and back in. But you want your best players out on the floor that can really get as many points as you can. And of course, with the Bulldogs trailing here, you're going to want to keep your players speedy, but you want to put the best players out there to really put points in a winner-go-home game like this.
No way. Here's Rodriguez from the line. No way. And it's pulled down by Jermaine. Jermaine over to Breen. Breen up to the point. 7 points separate them. Here's Breen for three of them. She's got him. Make it a 4-point game. Nice shot by Breen. She's hit a lot from range now. She hit a 2 and now a 3. But the 2 was deep. And this game is just 4 that separates the 2. Little floater over to Vera Cruz, kicked out. They are now setting up this offense, which is working a lot more than it had earlier. Vera Cruz. Here's Rodriguez. Fakes the shot. She traveled. Are you sure about that? I didn't think she did. We could pull it up right now on our replay, our handy-dandy brand new replay, which we have not shown in the girls' basketball game yet, but I'm not sure she did travel. I think that was a bit of a generous call for Metuchen, but I'm sure they'll take it.
Yeah, definitely, and that's the debut of the replay system. We're trying it out as the season's coming to a close, but yeah, definitely not a travel there, being unbiased, and Metuchen gets away with a fast break there.
Yeah. Actually, it's a pretty cool thing. So we were thinking about this replay kind of all year, but we weren't sure how to pull it off. We finally pulled it off using a little bit of that Bulldog Report magic. You know how it is.
Oh.
Yeah, but late in the season, so we'll have it for next season, I assure you. Here's Breen from 3. Maybe her toe was on the line, so I think it would probably be a 2-point if it went in, but it didn't. Gray, dribble. Oh, you've got an open Breen again. Just keep letting her shoot. Here's Zanecki, foul. I think she was fouled after, before it went, after the shot went up, but they won't say she was. So anyway, she'll be sent to the line. She has a chance for her 5th point of the night, 3rd point of the play. She's been good.
And Gianna Rodriguez now up to 2 fouls. Of course, that's not threatening so far, but still the first half, you're going to start to be able to watch that as you go into the second half. And 5 is a foul out here in the high school, so something to look out for.
2-point difference right now. Every point counts, as we learned on Friday. Minute 20 left. Jared, you've got a minute 20 left. You have to play full defense, but if you could try to make this a tie game, you'll definitely take it.
Yeah, definitely. And Metuchen has had a burst of momentum here in the final minutes of the second half. They want to keep it going here with a turnover here on defense or something that's not points, and Metuchen can go right down and turn that into points. Of course, no shot clock, so South River could hold it like we did see in New Brunswick that other day.
Ooh, I thought it was going to be free points for Rodriguez, but Jermaine says no. She swats it down. Bulldogs on the ball. Over to Jermaine. She has no points yet. And, it's a foul against Metuchen. Will give South River the ball with 41.7 left. Offense looked a little rushed on that drive. They got the steal, obviously, from a swat by Jermaine, but they weren't able to do much more after that. Interesting thing to note, Katie Gray has 4 points, but last time she played against South River, she was pretty good. I remember it was the first stream of the year when we played this. And by the way, Metuchen's in bonus land for the last few seconds, as you see a 1 shot and 1. If she makes it, she gets the ball back. She doesn't. Pulled down by Rodriguez. Up she goes, and she's fouled for 2 shots this time. Katie Gray played great against South River, and now she's playing them again, and she's doing actually well offensively. She's not obviously made for taking on that offensive competition typically. She's more of the rebounding type, and she's a great passer, which is why she gives a lot of those early Jermaine points end up going because of nice passes by Katie Gray. But she's not even one of the leading scorers on the Bulldogs this year, but she does well against South River. She has all 3 games they've played.
And South River, I've actually started to notice here, there's a little gap in the paint that they're not even covering. And Katie Gray's managed to find it on a lot of possessions here where they're actually passing to her right in the lane, and she's getting some free points. So definitely something to watch out for, as right there on the key is a little uncovered here.
Yeah, we could show you in a bit. Cassidy Connors goes. Maybe we should coach the team. We could probably give them a good idea of what we're seeing. Little halftime input, maybe. As you see Gray get fouled, she has a chance for some more points. Sent to the line. That was a foul, I think, again by Rodriguez, who's been fouling a lot here in the first half. It was against Rodriguez, her 3rd in the half, and you only need 5 to foul out, Jared.
Yeah, that's something that's definitely going to be a point of
Oh,
emphasis
no way.
here.
No way.
It's going to be something that's definitely a point of emphasis, as you already have 3 fouls going into the second half. Obviously, Gianna Rodriguez is an important point of your team, and you don't want her to foul out in a game like this, where obviously win or go home. Next winner here advances.
Ooh, both shots don't go for Katie Gray. 12 seconds left. 12 seconds left. 9, 8. Bulldogs trying to hold that defense down if they can. 4-point game. Thrown over by Veracruz. 1 second. Shot up. Did she get it off in time? I think she did. They'll count the points on the floor and make it a 6-point game. Let's check it out. 1. I think she did. I think she did. Jared, we're watching a good game. What does Metuchen have to do in the second half in order to bounce back?
They have to improve their defense a little bit, as they've had some ball security issues so far. They have 8 fouls in the first half, which is definitely something to note, of course. And with 8 fouls, you're going to have some trouble going into the second half to sort of limit that. We'll see what Coach Glutz can do, but of course, the steals, the ball security, the bad passing is contributing to the offense that you're a little behind the beat on so far in the first half. 21-15 game, and they're looking to bounce back here in the second half.
Yeah, well, we have it on slow motion, actually, to go check out what we just saw. I'm not sure the shot was off. I think it was probably off just in time. But let's check it out. Here's the chance. She shoots it once. Yeah, she got it off with 0.2 seconds left, so she just barely got it off in time. But yeah, that was a really nice half. From the start to the finish, Metuchen right now trails by 6, but there's no way that this team is not fit to come back here in the second half. We'll see how they can do. End of the first half, Bulldogs trail 21-15. We'll be back for the second half. Jared Popek and Ike Bush on the call here on the Bulldog Report. See you soon. Welcome back to the Bulldog Report here. Second half ready to go. Bulldogs trail by 6 right now in a must-win game. A game where they expected to get to a better start, but they're looking to have a good end to the game, which matters more. And Metuchen looking to make this game come out as a W. Right now in a game where, by the way, South River has looked very good as of recent. So Metuchen can't get too down on themselves. Like I said earlier on in the stream, Metuchen got off to a good start. And they took on a bunch of, South River got to a little bit of a slow start, and then they started to heat up, and they took on against, they've been really hot since then. So now they're playing against a good Metuchen team, and they're looking good. Here's a three-pointer, good from Cassidy Connors, make it a three-point game. That is huge for Metuchen, exactly how they should start their half off, Jared.
Yeah, definitely. And Metuchen, of course, needs to build on that 3 there, and they just did right there with a turnover. Hopefully they can bring that down to the other end of the court and put up for some points.
We shall see. They're on the ball now. We're 50 seconds into the game. Second half. Bulldogs trail by 3. It was 1-6 as they have it right now. The most they've been down this game has been 6. Unbelievably. Here's for the tie. Connors has single-handedly gotten Metuchen back into this game, and I mean back into this game with a tie. And a quick steal. Here they come. Oh, I wish she fouled. They will call a foul on the chance by Breen. Miss Glutz is not happy about that. Here comes the shot, Vera Cruz, and it was a tie game for 9 seconds, and now there is a slim but apparent lead in favor of South River.
And that's not something you should really beat yourself up on, as obviously there you go. And there's the battle back.
Well,
but
Jermaine has her first points of the game, Jared.
yeah, that's actually something that is almost unheard of.
Here's a steal. Here comes Connors. She got it up, and it's good. Connors has 8 out of the gate here, and the Bulldogs have outscored South River by 8 points in less than 2 minutes. What could Miss Glutz possibly have said? It's unbelievable. A great start to the half as Metuchen leads now by 2. I'm so used to saying trails because they haven't really been up all game, and now they're up, and they look really good. This is some of the best basketball we've seen them play all year. Hey, they have to maintain it, though, because they're playing against some pretty feisty South River opponents.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen this year where teams can go on momentum swings like this, so you can't be comfortable with this lead, but you definitely have to build on it. They have a lot of talent on this team, on the South River team, but of course, a great surge of momentum here for the Bulldogs. I hope they can keep building on it, because obviously a lead, you want to keep that.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see if they can. They're playing some defense right now, looking to hold it down. Rodriguez, by the way, was out for a while. Came back in after Metuchen retook the lead. Here's a three-pointer. And there's a dagger against Metuchen. Gives South River the lead. This is going to be back and forth by far. I think it's going to probably just continue to be back and forth. This one, a 1-point game now in favor of South River. It was just a 2-point game in favor of Metuchen. Here's Gray. Was that a 3? It doesn't go in anyway, I think off of a Bulldog, but I'm not sure if it was off a Bulldog, but controversy there. It goes in favor of the Rams, and they're going to take it across with a 1-point lead. Rodriguez. Three-pointer. Vera Cruz has been their best player this year, or one of them, and she can't hit the 3. She leads the team in points with an unbelievable amount of 320. A lot of three-pointers, too. Speaking of three-pointers, Cassidy Connors chucks another up. Can't get it. Jermaine runs the glass and runs the game now. It's 27-26. She's looked really especially good out of the half, and she's looked good this game. It might not show up on the stat sheet except for the rebound column, but she has looked good defensively, and now she's really starting to look good here offensively in the second half. Here's a three-pointer off of the rim. No good. The shot from Marilyn Orellana. And Metuchen's ball, their first time offensive drive, their first offensive chance with the lead since early first half. Oh, Jermaine, you would have thought could have gotten 3 points there. Couldn't, though. Here's a fast break off the glass and in. Orellana's got him back in the lead, and back and forth we go, Jared.
Yeah, definitely. And, of course, South River also has a lot of shooters, too. Madison Vitucci leads the team in assists, but she also has 45 three-pointers, and it leads South River by more than 20 three-pointers. So definitely a shooter that you need to look out for around the arc. Other players definitely better in the paint. Gianna Rodriguez, of course, leading the team in rebounds, 258 points. Something to watch as you go down the stretch here, this fast-paced play.
Pfeiffer comes out of the game. Pereira and Connors were on the ground a little bit. They were both down, and they were both helped up by teammates, and they're obviously both still into the game right now, so no reason to worry in terms of injuries right now. It's Breen who takes it after a quick steal by Katie Gray. Over to Connors, it falls out of bounds, and I think, Jared, we've talked about this a lot in the past, more with the boys, but when they get quick steals, it feels like they kind of rush their offense a little bit more than they should. You know, they'll get that quick steal, and you probably should slow down the offense. They might go a little too fast and lose possession of the ball like they did just there.
And they're a fast team, which is always good because you want to play fast if you're a fast team. But the problem is when you're getting covered on those fast breaks and you can't get those sort of free points that you're always looking for on a fast break where you're uncovered and you always get a layup. If you can't get that, you should always slow down your offense and sort of gain a possession, set up your offense, and give yourself the best chance at getting points when you go down the stretch like this and you're playing really fast. It's sometimes hard to slow down, but I think Coach Glutz is going to talk to them about that.
Okay, so let's talk about the program turnaround for South River. In 2010, they won one game, and it was against Piscataway Tech, who is just not a very good team historically. So they won one game. They were 1-22 in the year 2010-2011 season. The program wasn't much better the next year. They won 7 games. They were like 7-15 the next year. I mean, the team has gone through so much, and then they were especially good in 2019, putting up some crazy stats. But now they're here, South River. They're 14-12. They're sitting pretty right now with a 10 seed in the state tournament. And they're playing a good game against Metuchen here.
Yeah, they definitely are. And South River as a school has really improved over the years. Their soccer programs have become very good. They've actually competed very closely with Metuchen in terms of soccer skills. So that's obviously a big rivalry. We'll see if that rivalry really continues to carry over in terms of basketball too.
As a baseball player too, when we play South River, it's a big thing. We know that South River's good, and they know that they're good too, and it's like, and they know we're good, and it's just like always a good game. The ride over's kind of long, and it's just like you're preparing for one of your big rivals, because I think in every sport they're kind of evenly matched, and they play, intense rivalry games. I feel like every game's usually good. It's soccer, and like you said, and in baseball, and football is not much of the same. Usually South River's a little better than Metuchen, but it feels like in basketball they're similar. I'm not really boys. I'd say girls are typically pretty even, and like you see here, it's a 1-point game that separates them. Here's Connors, moves outside. Ooh, nice save by the height of Katie Gray to get up there. She kicks to the freshman. Pallotta outside to Connors. Connors inside with it, her left hand controlling it. Over to Jermaine, floats it up off the glass. No good. Swatted out and taken now by Orellana. Third quarter action. Right now the Rams lead by 1.
And I just want to point out that there hasn't been scoring in the last 3 minutes of play. So we had a really fast break here where teams were scoring like crazy, going back and forth, and now we haven't had a scoring possession here in the last 3 minutes.
There's another example, by the way, of Metuchen getting a steal and overthrowing their player and losing possession just like that. Sorry, I didn't realize I was interrupting you, but that's just something I wanted to note quickly. They overshot Katie Gray. That could have been 3 points, but they just seemed a little bit rushed on the drive.
Yeah, that's something that Coach Glutz probably should have talked to them about, or did talk to them about during the break, where they're sort of rushing their possessions and they're not setting up their offense. When they're covered on the fast breaks, they always want to take the 3 points, quote unquote, but they're not always getting them because the team's actually catching up to them. So obviously Metuchen being a fast team, South River's countering here, and of course trailing by 1. They're calling the task in terms of points too.
Here's Pilata. Ooh, Pfeiffer. We haven't seen her shoot the ball much today. She hasn't been into the game that much. Here's a three. Ooh, swatted down. They know who their shooter is, and they're kind of understanding and sort of sticking to Connors a little more. The shooting for both sides have been actually very good this game, as there's a shot by South River. It feels like both teams are hitting threes once every, 3 times, which is pretty good in high school basketball for girls. And so that's something that's making this game a little more fun here. But I think the final minutes of this one could get really fun, unless someone sort of starts to separate the way that I don't really expect them to. This game, the final stages can get super exciting in a close game like this. Here's a shot from Connors, rebounded by Pereira after the miss. And they'll both go back to their sides after a timeout called by South River, and their head coach will go speak to them. Head coach Mike Feaster and Metuchen over their head coach Kathy Glutch will step aside for now. 28-27, slimmest lead of all as the Rams lead it right now here in the third quarter. Ready to go here, final 44 seconds left. Bulldogs right now trailing by only a point, but it's been worse. South River right now playing a good game, but the program, we've talked about their ups and downs in the years. Last year, their season was cut short a little early, Jared.
Yeah, and last year in the States, actually the first round, just like this, they got upset in overtime by Arthur L. Johnson being Clark, and they got upset in overtime 54-51. Madison Vitucci had a great game. She had 18 points there for South River. She's been pretty quiet today. We haven't seen much from Vitucci today. She leads the team in three-pointers. It's surprising that we haven't really seen her around the arc yet.
She's not someone that you necessarily always see in the sense, because the fact that she's more assists, but don't let that take away from the fact that she has 244 points. So maybe you do see her. 43 steals is pretty amazing. 58 assists, okay, 45 three-pointers, okay. So you know what? You do definitely see her, but tonight you're not seeing her so much. You're more seeing Vera Cruz hit her threes. You're seeing a little bit of Gianna Rodriguez and a little bit of everyone really. Here's Zanecki. She's been reliable all game. Floats it up and in. Did she get it off in time? Yes, she did. Little buzzer beater of their own for Metuchen. Heck of a quarter.
Yeah, definitely, and they turned it around from their first half, down 21-15 at the end of the first half, and now they put up a huge spot here in the second. They got 14, which is really almost their entire total in the first half, right in this third quarter. So we've seen teams activate like this, like Metuchen has. We'll see how they build on it in the fourth quarter, and maybe win this game.
You're right, we will see, but for now, we'll step aside. Bulldogs trail by 2. We'll see how they can battle back in the fourth quarter. All right, we're into the final 8 minutes, which means this is going to be, as Scott Hansen says, the witching hour. If you watch any Red Zone football, you know what I'm talking about. This is where wins become losses and losses become wins.
Wow, really quoting Scott Hansen there. But
Yeah, but it's true.
yeah,
I mean, this is going to probably be very eventful. I'm no joke. The amount of lead switches are pretty. There might not be a ceiling on that. I mean, the way that this has gone. Here's Veracruz for 3. It doesn't look like any team's going to separate themselves. Maybe I'm jinxing it. Maybe I shouldn't say that with the announcer's curse we've had all year. Obviously, the commentator's curse is very strong, but it hasn't been as strong with me, by the way, lately. It's been a little bit easy on me lately, I will say.
yeah, and honestly, this is a very low-scoring game we've seen here from Metuchen, and South Rivers sort of followed that and only scoring 31 so far. Metuchen hasn't really scored less than 50-ish in the past 5 or 6 games, so something to definitely look out for. If they're obviously they had a good scoring quarter there in the third quarter. Let's hope they can build on it in the fourth.
Oh, I thought that 3 might fall for South River. Metuchen's used to playing from behind tonight. Other nights, though, it's not common. They have not really played from behind that much this year. Obviously, they've lost 8 times, but they haven't had to play from behind in most games. They've really gotten out to that strong lead, like I talked about earlier, and never really looked back. Tonight, they're mostly only playing from behind, and that's kind of been a theme for them. Now they're finally even. They have the chance now in the final 6:48 to say, we're the better team and try to win this game at home.
Yeah, and Metuchen really hasn't played in a lot of close games, certainly. The ones that they've won, they've sort of beat their opponents by a lot. Of course, Denellen beating them 46-24, Perth Amboy, South Amboy 50-19, so definitely something to look out for. And their losses, too. They haven't lost by a close amount, so they're not used to playing in these close games, but of course you're going to have to finish this one out with 6-24, or else that's the end of the season there.
Yeah, that's the end of their season.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Season.
Yep.
Oh, fouled Rodriguez. Rodriguez to the line. That's a foul against. I can't trip up any of my words or I'm going to get that right back in my face. Pause. Here's the shot. What? Alright, here's Rodriguez. She's going to the line. A second foul by Gray. Rodriguez's first shot is good to make it 32-31. No way. She hits the second one, too. It's 31-33. Connors upstairs over to Jermaine. Ooh, she traveled. I don't know that was the call, but she did travel. So it's going to be South River ball. Now, we'll talk about this again. South River's team has been very streaky this year. They're on a hot streak right now. They've won their last 2, lost 3 games ago, but they're playing against South Brunswick. As you see, points go in off a glass by Rodriguez and a timeout called by Metuchen. They're in a streak. They're a streaky team, more so than Metuchen. And they just have to win this game. And I think that they have the potential to make a nice run just based off of the way that they are built.
Yeah, definitely. And they have a lot of scorers on their team. And same with Metuchen. They have a lot of scorers, and they're definitely fast. So it should be a good, fast-paced play to finish out the last 6 minutes of play.
We will see how the final 6 minutes to go. Exactly 6 minutes left on the clock. Bulldogs trail by 4. We'll step aside for now. Bulldog Report, 4-point game. Jared Popek and Ike Bush. I'll see you in a second. Oh, no way. Metuchen on the ball. Here's Connors. It's a travel, I think. Oh, maybe they're going to say foul. But okay, so there's 5 minutes left, Jared. 6 minutes left, really. That cut it to 14 seconds. Foul trouble is not at all a worry in this one, so you can count that out. But what's going to be the main focus? What's the thing that kind of tilts a team to a win in this one, with it being such a close game?
You definitely have to establish a lead early here. You can't go into the last 2 minutes still being down and thinking that it's going to be possible to win this game. Of course it definitely is. You have a lot of fouls to work with, so definitely something that you can go down the stretch without a bonus and put some of the South River players that aren't as good shooting at the line. But the problem is that Metuchen's got to build their lead early here. In the next few minutes of play, I want to see them sort of come back and go on a momentum swing and really extend their lead into this game, and it's going to be helpful going down the stretch when South River is going to be doing all the fouling and not Metuchen.
Dogs swatted out of bounds, last touched off of Jermaine. It's going to be South River basketball. No way. Zanecki getting ready to go in. She's been an underrated piece for Metuchen here in this one. Underneath, shot up. Oh, off the glass, a little too harsh off the glass. That would have been huge for South River to kind of extend their lead a little bit. But Metuchen falls on the rebound, and they've got it. This is a chance now to start to cut into that lead. We're a minute after that timeout. Metuchen not making too many changes, but they want to definitely start to settle into that territory. Jermaine no good from a spot she usually hits from. They won't count it, but there was a foul against South River, against number 10, not Lucy Pilata, Ashley Pereira. Both freshmen, and both number 10, actually. Good note to kind of add, I guess. Gray. Inbounds over to Cassidy Connors. Steal, quick steal. Here comes Rodriguez to her right. She's guarded by Pfeiffer, the best defender Metuchen has, but it doesn't matter as the Rams extend their lead, make it a 6-point game with 4:33. You're right. If they want to come back, they kind of has to start now, as head coach Kathy Glutz, who has an extra timeout over Mike Feaster, calls a timeout. They'll both be at 2 now, as the Dogs and Rams right now at a very close one, but deadlock in timeouts, pretty much a deadlock in fouls. They've been pretty even in this one, but unfortunately for Metuchen, the first half is kind of killing them in this one.
Yeah, definitely. In their first half, they started a little slower than South River, and it's actually helped them. Like we said in that boys game the other day, those points in the first half that you think, oh, they don't really matter because, you know, they they build their lead in the second half, and they sort of build on that in the fourth quarter with what you have. It's important what you do in the first half, and it's coming back to bite Metuchen, unfortunately.
Bulldogs with the ball. It is Breen. She's got to get this offense going a little bit. She hasn't done much here in the second half. She hit some shots from range in the first half, swatted out of bounds off of Rodriguez. Little breakup in the lane on the pass from Zanecki, intended for Gray. Gray will inbound from underneath the opposing hoop. They give to their shooter. Connors, no good off the glass. Rebounded. Oh, by the Rams. Oh, a quick steal by the Bulldogs. They scoop it up. Zanecki. There's a foul on the court against South River. Wow, okay, so now you're starting to get into bonus range. If you're South River, you're 3 away, and Metuchen's definitely liking what they're seeing.
Yeah, definitely, and that foul was actually really important because now not only does it give them the ball back on a sloppy play there, but it gives them a chance to cash in some points and cut this lead down.
Big shot, overshot. Ooh, Metuchen's getting some calls to go their way. Zanecki was not the last one to touch it, as it's Bulldog ball again. They're happy with the way these calls are going as well. I think that was the right call, too, as Gray kicks in to Pfeiffer. two options for her. One outside the arc. They'll give it to Breen. She puts it up. The captain, no good from 3. She's struggling a little from 3 here in the second half. Bulldogs struggling now here in the fourth. Here's a 3 for a dagger. Oh, it bricks off. Thought that might have had a chance from Vitucci, who's been probably their best shooter over the course of her career, but she's not had it too much tonight like we talked about. She's been more in the assist jar.
And South River's going to hold the ball here as much as they can.
Ooh, nice play as you just got jinxed, Jared. How do you feel?
Doesn't feel great.
I would not feel great either. Veracruz with the point. Veracruz with the points. Nice shot there off the glass. Here's Pfeiffer. Do they have something out of her? They do! Sam Pfeiffer with her first three-pointer of the night. And a big splash from Metuchen. A nice clapback to keep this game within range. Make it 5. Make it 7. Speaking of clapback, it's a 7-point game after a nice response on the fast break. And a timeout by Kathy Glutz. We'll take a break for now. Bulldogs trail by 7 here on the Bulldog Report. Inside of 3 minutes to go. Bulldogs trail right now by 7. Connors with it. Got to get the offense going. You're trailing by 3 possessions. A 3! I don't like the strategy of just shooting 3-pointers right now. They're not going to make up enough ground, I don't think, and you just need reliable points.
Yeah, they don't need to necessarily do that yet. You got to start getting it down into the lane there, into the paint, and you're approaching foul area where, of course, you're down by 7, but you have 4 fouls working against you, and that's a possibility for a bonus if you play your cards right. And, of course, just shooting it is not going to necessarily cut your lead very much, like you said, nor is it going to drive your fouls up, which could definitely help you.
Well, there's been fouls both ways, more so late in the game, 4 on each side. Shot up. Oh, Rodriguez had free points and she can't get him. Rebounded by Germain, and she's getting heckled on the way back. Oh, man. Here's a 3. Nailed it. Connor splashes the 3 from deep. And now, just about now, I bet you Rodriguez is not too happy. Here's the problem, though. All the offense is up, and now there's no defense back. That's kind of been a common theme in this one for Metuchen. The whole offense is up, and then there's always an open person underneath the net. Here comes Breen. Floats it up to Connors, who's been perfect tonight. Got it! Splits the lead in half. 2-point game, Jared.
This is huge here for Metuchen. A huge momentum break here. And now that we see a timeout, or maybe a foul, it's in our dead zone.
Timeout. Excuse me, foul against Metuchen, yeah. That's her 5th. So you're right about the bonus.
Yeah, that's killer there for Metuchen, but of course a huge burst of momentum to cut this lead to 2. And now it's not necessarily you just need to shoot to win this game. You can actually sort of drive it down and not necessarily take more of your time. It depends on this possession, of course, what you want to do. And that's an interesting foul there by Katie Gray.
The fan section might be small, but right now it's mighty. Look at it. Can we zoom in on that? We cannot. But, oh man. constructed of some of our tech crew, actually. Got to get hype for the state game. Oh, quick steal. The fans really adding something here. Here's a steal again by Veracruz. Underneath, Rodriguez can't get to it. Bulldog ball. Look at the fans erupt.
And you definitely need a basket here. It's not like you can just take your time now that you're only down 2 and you've cut this lead already. There's still a lot of work to do. You got to come down and tie this. Definitely no random shooting here I want to see from Metuchen.
Don't, unless you're wide open, do not force a 3. Get this ball, I think, to Jermaine.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Oh, they steal it. Here they go. Timeout by Feaster.
And that's a smart timeout there by Feaster. She was getting trapped there by Cassidy Connors, and now they just want to regroup and get the ball in correctly.
Let's step aside. We'll enter more of the witching hour in a few seconds. Jared Popek and Ike Bush here on the Bulldog Report. We've got a 2-point game. 1:12 left. Tonight's Bulldog Report player of the game, Jared, goes to
Cassidy Connors.
Yep. Jared, what'd she do tonight that earned her this?
She definitely activated her offense in the final stages of this game. The offense was slow, definitely to start, but activated in the second half, and Cassidy Connors was a huge part of that, cashing on 2 threes and a fast break basket here down the stretch. That's really cut this lead to very slim, and now Metuchen has a great chance to come back and win or even send this to overtime. Should be exciting to see how this one ends. 1:12 left.
Yeah, that's what you got to have from your captain, and she has done it tonight, and the Bulldogs are looking to do it also tonight in the state game. It's not just a random game. This is a game with meaning, a lot of meaning, and the Bulldogs have to hold on to what they're doing and their momentum right now. A lot of it comes from the fans. We'll see, though. Bring you all the action from the final seconds in this one, entering the final minute. Veracruz with it. They have no reason to give the ball up, actually, because there's no shot clock. Shot goes up. It will not count. They will not count the shot on the floor. It was definitely after the whistle was called at post foul. That's foul number 6. They're 1 out of the bonus, Jared.
Yeah, it's definitely lucky there for Metuchen, obviously, getting that foul before the basket went in. But the problem is now you have 6 fouls. Oh, make that 7, and now you have a bonus. So this would be a 1-on-1 chance here, and you make it, you get a second, and you could make this 2 possessions.
You're right. Yeah, here's the shot. We got to go in. She banked it in. All right, so a 3-point game now. She's earned a second chance to make it a 2-possession. Veracruz, one of the leaders on this team, one of the captains on the team, leads the team in points like we've said earlier, and she has the chance really to make this a big, big shot. Can't get it. Gray gets the rebound. Dogs on the ball. Still 1 possession. That doesn't mean take a 3-pointer.
No, it certainly doesn't. And I don't want you to take a 3 here. 47 seconds is a lot of time. I don't want you to try and tie it up right here.
And who knows that more than Cassidy Connors? And Katie Gray with the putback. 1 point. All you could hear is the fans and Chris DeVizio with his whistle. Up on the hoop. No good. Jermaine pulls it down. 1-point game. In a 1-point game, even this has got Ben Solaski standing up. A shot, it's not going to count.
And that's a great timeout by Coach Glutz. Settle your offense down. They were going too quick there, and now they got to really draw up a play here to get a basket.
So a timeout apiece, Jared. We're not going to go off air because this is too much to talk about right now. It's a 1-point game that separates them. You can't end on a heartbreaker like this. One of these teams will have to, but Metuchen prays it's not them because this is a game that's winnable and you want to be able to win and advance into the next round.
It would be a great comeback story to see them win this. They obviously started slow in the first half, down by 6, but now they've cut it within 1 and they have possession here. So this is very important to see if they're going to slow this offense down or try and get as quick a bucket as they can. I think they're going to try and hold it here, but I don't want to see them take it to the buzzer and really give them a last chance, as you see Chris DeVizio, of course, activating the student section, the slim student section.
It's a huge student section.
Yeah. But, of course, Coach Glutz, I would like to see her drop a play here. I don't know if she's sort of hyping them up or giving them something to run, but I'm hoping it's something that
No way.
they're going to draw up here.
Bulldogs have the ball underneath the hoop, so we are approaching potentially buzzer beater land. We'll see. We'll have our replay available just in case. We could actually kind of help. I don't know if the refs will ask us for a review, but we have the scoreboard, we have the review, so hit us if you need us. Because every single play counts. Gray has it underneath. Let's go. Gotta find an inbound quickly. She's got Breen. Clock automatically starts. Jermaine. Was she fouled? She was, but it's not a shooting foul. And it's not the bonus yet, so it's foul number 5. They're 2 away from the bonus. Oh, man.
And of course that only killed 5 seconds, but 17.7, a lot of time. You have to inbound it here, though.
Ooh, not the right inbound. Did she foul her? She didn't. They got to get a foul off. They do, finally. Oh, they should have fouled a little earlier. Hey, it's still a 1-and-1, though, Jared. This is big if they're able to miss this shot and get the rebound. But Metuchen is on the brink of a heartbreak unless they're able to solidify their offense right now. And no matter what happens here from the line, if they're able to make both shots, Metuchen it will still be a one-possession game. I still don't think you shoot a 3, though, the way that you've been shooting tonight. Not that it's been poor, but I think they're just more reliable getting it to Jermaine or Connors underneath the basket in the paint or something. They're going to have Zanecki out there. I think they're ready to sub her in. Maybe for Gray. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. That's Metuchen's 8th foul, so kind of in the area of 10, but they're not there yet, and there's 13 seconds to change, so it's possible that they end up getting to that, given the circumstances. Obviously, 13 seconds is a lot of time. Basketball.
And yeah, this is the biggest foul shot here, because if you can rebound it, you're only down by 1, and you only really need it 2.
But they have no timeouts, though.
That's true.
So it would have been nice if they can get it and call timeout, but they can't. So they have to know what they're doing as soon as they get the ball. If they get the ball, Rodriguez slashes the first. That is major, major stuff for them. And this one really could be huge for them if they hit it.
And here's the thing. I don't want anyone to really take a 3 and sort of be the hero to try and get a game winner. I want you to be reliable and kick it to one of your star players underneath and get the tie.
Ooh,
never mind.
Rolls in. Now you have to have a 3-point. Now you have to have a 3-pointer, and they know how to guard it. Ooh. No, you can't take your 2. Was she fouled? She was fouled. Unbelievable. It was Rodriguez who fouled. And now Jermaine is at the biggest shot of her life.
Oh, my. Huge shot here. Down by 1.
Oh, my goodness. She has the biggest shot, and no pressure to Orly. She's done it all year. She's hit these shots. She has a huge chance now from the line. Don't let the pressure get to you. Here's Orly. Nailed it. Just nailed it. Don't foul her. Do not foul her if you're Metuchen. Chucked it up. 1 second. Shot up. No good, and we're going to overtime. Was she fouled? They won't give her a foul on that. I don't think. They're talking some things over. The refs are figuring this out. They're calling it a foul. So all she has to do is make 1 shot.
Oh my, this is killer.
But it's only, listen, it's 1 shot. So, listen, if you make, so that's going to foul out Breen. She's done for the day. Charlotte Breen has too many fouls. That's foul number 9. So, if you make the shot, you win. If you miss the shot, we're going to overtime, essentially.
Correct.
So, this is like the shot of her life now. From the line. This is a huge chance now for Pereira, who's visually nervous. She's like shaking, and I can't imagine this pressure right now. But she, obviously, no game. She can't lose with this shot, obviously, the way that Jermaine could have. But she's got a big chance now from the line. Hit it, and you send Metuchen home. Still 1 second on the clock. They added time. Here's Pereira in a loud student section. She hit it. And that could end Metuchen's season.
Why?
And a timeout called by Mike Feaster. Oh, that's got to kill Metuchen as they'll go talk things over. Man, I thought the defense could have been a little stronger after the Germain shot. Obviously, nerves were starting to kick in, and I think they'd kick in me too. But man, he just kind of gave those points away at the end, which stinks from a touching. But this game isn't over yet. There's a second left. They're gonna have to have some like Virginia versus Purdue heroics.
And like you said in the boys' game, you want to see them roll the ball. I want to see them sort of roll the ball because it doesn't start the clock yet. I want to see them get up to almost half where they can pick it up and actually be able to get a shot off. It's possible.
Yeah, it is. We've seen crazier things happen. We actually have not seen crazier things happen, but it would be nice if they are able to do that. And that's not even just me being a Metuchen student and stuff. That's just me wanting to see some crazy stuff happen. And if this isn't what we said was the witching hour, I don't know what is.
And I think the timeout is so that she purposely misses the shot here. I think I'm right on that. She's gonna purposely miss it.
Yeah, yep.
Yep.
It didn't hit the rim, so yeah, it didn't hit the rim. You have to hit the rim if you want the clock to start.
That's a fatal mistake there for South River.
Yeah, but I think Metuchen's shot anyway would be a three-pointer.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter. Here's a chuck up to Germain. No better person to get it to. And Metuchen falls short. Oh, man, what a game it was. And this is tough to get off air right now. You're hoping there's a call from the refs that kind of reverse what just happened. But what a game. And like we said, Jared, every single point matters.
Yeah, exactly. And that was really killer there for Metuchen at the end. Only 1 point separates the Bulldogs and South River. They cut it really close at the end, and they ended up tying it up, but that was a crucial foul down the stretch there with about 6 seconds left, or 1 second left even, to finish that one off, and that'll do it for the season there for Metuchen.
Does that stink or what? And it's not even like they didn't play their best game. They played one of their better games, especially in the second half, but again, that first half kind of kicked in on them and made this a tougher game than it should have been, I think. And listen, don't get too down if you're Metuchen. You've got some young stars in the program. We'll talk about that. Got plenty of young stars. You've got Sam Pfeiffer, obviously probably going to take the reins of captain for next year. Lucy Pilata's a great player. You've got Vicky Zanecki, who actually had a really good game. You've got Josie Gray, Caitlin Connors, if she's back, and a few other players. Ella Polakowski's good, and there's a lot to look forward to if you're Metuchen.
Yeah, definitely. And you have a lot of young talent, but of course, it's tough to go out like that on your season. And Coach Glutz is obviously going to have a tough time thinking of something to say there for the Bulldogs. But that's a tough way to end it. And now that you look to the future, you're sort of looking to next season, what's going to happen in terms of timing next season, and you've got some young players to work with. Obviously, you have a freshman class that's going to be coming in. We'll see what happens next year.
We will see what happens next year. Goodbye to all the seniors. They had an excellent year, especially this year. I thought the seniors were especially good. Those names being Hiri Suzuki, Charlotte Breen, Katie Gray, Cassidy Connors, and Orly Germain. It's big. You're losing Charlotte Breen, Katie Gray, Cassie Connors, and Orly Germain. They all started. 4 of your starters are gone. So there's no question that they have young talent, but Miss Glutz is going to have to go back to the drawing board and start to figure some of these logistics for next year out, because there's a lot of logistics that need to be figured out.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for next year, obviously, and it's kind of hard to get off actually, because this is it for the season. We did, I want to say, close to 20 streams between the boys and girls this year, which is pretty awesome. Some of them with you, some of them with Henry. So it was fun. We said a little goodbye on Friday because it was the end of the basketball season for the boys. Now we're saying goodbye here from the girls and the boys. So this is really the end of the basketball season. Let's talk baseball season and softball season and spring sports in general. We don't stream the boys' baseball and the girls' softball games typically, but we are going to try to figure out something to try to stream some of those games and some just the spring sports out. Try to figure those out. We will try our best. And one of these days, maybe you'll see Metuchen versus South River softball pop up on your on your phone, and you'll be able to join that up. But we will try to figure it out, I promise. We've done it in the past. It's just kind of hard to pull off the right way. We want to make sure it's done the right way. I won't be able to call, but maybe you'll be able to hang around because I play baseball, but you might be able to make some calls or something. We'll try to figure something out. But yeah, that's it for the season, for the winter sports season. Bulldogs had a great season for the girls and boys. Huge thank you to the tech crew and the Bulldog Report crew. Mr. Porowski, the principal, the athletic director, Mr. Cathcart, trying to think, Miss Glutz, the coach, trying to think, the Bulldog Report crew, of course. Thank you to all of you guys, everyone listed on the screen. Really, really huge thank you to all of you guys and girls that helped make all of these streams happen. An extra big thank you to Ben Solaski, who's just been everything and more for us as the president here of the media club, and help these streams kind of work out for us. So that'll do for the final time here on the Bulldog Report here. I'm Ike Bush for Jared Popek, Henry Sia, and Ben Solaski. We will sign off here of the Bulldog Report. See you guys next time.